Usually when I download a service nowadays, it's primarily for the one thing that I saw, like that it was advertised for. I see that there's too many apps, software, services, whatever, that start off really well and then eventually they get bought out by another company or they partner with somebody else, and then from there it kind of just goes downhill. Biggest example that I can think of, the biggest abuser is Discord. Now, there's probably some other services that I could go off of, but Discord is just one that's kind of like on the radar. When I look into software, when I look into services, whatever it is that I'm going to be using over an extended period of time, I have like two things that I want from it, okay? The first thing being what is the primary goal of whatever it is I'm using it for. In this case, Discord, the only thing that I needed from it in the beginning was like a text chat, a way to be able to contact friends, and then voice chat as well. Like that was the only things that I needed from it. Okay. The other thing that I was concerned about when I signed up for Discord when I first started using it was, does it work? And in the beginning, it worked quite well, and for the most part now it still works. But there are some catches, there are some clauses to it, which make it a little bit more difficult to use quite a few years on from when I first started using it in 2018. Back in 2018, when I first started using Discord, it was like a very simple, very bare bones uh, service, software, whatever you want to call it, application that was like really nice. There wasn't really a whole lot in depth that you could do at the time. It wasn't like brand new. So I definitely didn't use Discord like when it came out. I didn't even know like Discord was a thing up until like 2018. 2018 was the first time that I actually started using it, but I quickly gravitated towards it. I loved the idea of it. I loved how simple it was at the time. It wasn't super in depth with all the microtransactions and all the customizations and the subscriptions and that kind of thing. And I'll go ahead and I'll get into that in a little bit. But it was like super bare bones. I was enjoying it, and that's all I needed from it. Okay. I had a couple of friends that were getting into the PC scene, and they could have used it on their phone at the time as well. But you just knew that, like, chances are we were probably going to use it a lot more on PC than we were on mobile, just because like we wanted to be able to play games together and keep in contact with each other, especially since a lot of us were graduating high school at the time. Back in 2018, I had kind of like a starter PC, which there wasn't a whole lot to it, and Discord right now, or should I say Discord back then, obviously didn't take a whole lot of resources, and for the most part doesn't require a whole lot now, which is nice. At least they've done like that much. They've taken care of it that much, so that way it's somewhat optimized. But again, the thing that I'm going to go ahead and complain about, or at least point out, is the fact that in the last couple of years, Discord has added an immense amount of things that are just very unnecessary. So the first thing I'm going to go off of, right, is like all the customizations and things. Before, when I was using Discord in 2018, 2019, I don't remember exactly when like a lot of these things like came into play because I don't remember them uh, when I first started using Discord. I just know that in the beginning there was just your profile picture and then like the little icon next to it to signify what it was that you were doing at the time. Were you idle? Were you do not disturb? Were you offline? You get the idea. But I know a couple years ago they added a lot of these things, and from there it's just kind of opened up the doors for other microtransactions and a subscription service and many other things. But like for a lot of these items, I don't know, I just to me it feels like very unnecessary. I feel like if Discord would have stayed the way that it was, or like maybe added like a little bit of customization, that would have been fine. But paying $6 for some of this, or like 16, what did I see here up at the top? Like almost $30 for a lot of this. Like that to me seems like a lot, and it also seems like a waste of money for something that is going to be running in the background most of the time. So honestly, this is one of the things that I feel like Discord could have done without. That is unnecessary. This isn't really something that affects me. Well, actually, to a degree, it does, because this is another thing that like Discord has to worry about. This is another thing that like Discord has to load. Prior to whenever it was that they added a lot of this stuff, Discord's loading time when I first clicked on it on my PC was fairly quick. I was able to click on it. It would take like maybe like 20, 30 seconds to go. And it's like now, it takes them almost like 2 minutes now, where it's like it'll sit there. I'll click on it and like it'll initiate the opening sequence, and then you'll get the little Discord frog or whatever, and then it'll sit there and it'll spin for about 40 seconds. Then afterwards, it's a matter of like loading everything else. When Discord was like super bare bones, like not very advanced, which is most times like that's how I like services. Okay, I like to be able to catch them early on, not like right when they just come out, because obviously they're going to have problems. Any project, any app, any service is going to have its problems early on, but usually afterwards, then things smooth out, things get better. But for an app such as this, that was like its primary focus was being able to act as a chatting, a voice call or a text chat in the beginning, has now blown into something that's kind of like, I don't know, microtransaction land. I remember when they first introduced a handful of these things, it was just kind of like, whatever, you know. I don't think they charged a whole lot for them, but then afterwards, then like the prices started to go up, they started to add more, and then from there, it was just kind of like the floodgates opened, and then they started implementing the currency, whatever that is. I have no idea what it is. I've never even bothered to look at it. I've kept everything like the same, just because to me it's bloat. Once Discord like added all this stuff, then I could kind of see the quality of life kind of go down over time. When I first started hearing about Nitro, and I was like, well, what is it? I see there's a handful of people that I'm in contact with that are using it. I saw that it was another subscription service, and couple years ago, subscription services to me weren't necessarily something that I had to worry about. Now it's something I do, because it seems like every service, every software has some sort of subscription, and most times it's $9.99. I think in this case it's probably $9.99. Yep, there we go, or $100 for a year. That's another thing that I don't want to have to pay for. I also don't have any usage for this. If anybody's seen the last video of me talking about paying for premium with like music services and switching back to MP3 players, go ahead and give that a look, and you'll see my quarrel with that there. Nitro came out in, what should I say, the testing for Nitro came out in 2016, and later was being advanced in 2017, and then of course 2018 it kind of fully came out. And in, like I said, 2018, when I first started using Discord, I didn't see a whole lot about Nitro. It was very subtle. It was very hush hush. You would see kind of like whenever you would open up Discord, it would pop up every now and then, but it wasn't nearly as in your face as it is now, where you get a notification about somebody's boosting your server with Nitro, or you'll log in and you'll get a message talking about consider this ad, or consider this deal for Nitro. You might enjoy it, yada yada yada. We're getting messages from the official Discord talking about you've received a half off subscription for Nitro. Would you like to buy it at this price? No, absolutely not. That's not something that I'm interested in. Why does everything have to have a subscription nowadays? Like, why can't I just buy it and then have that be it? Like, if I have to pay $20, $30, like it's a once pay once, enjoy forever type situation, then that's kind of the idea that I want. I want to be able to save money over time, rather than have a bunch of other subscriptions kind of like pile up. A lot of the things on here too are really things that you shouldn't even have to pay for. Like, a lot of these things are like basic, should be included already. Personalized entrance sounds, display name styles, stickers, emojis, app color themes, like that should be a thing just from the get-go. I think with a lot of the file uploads, you should be able to upload big files. There has to be a limit somewhere. Longer messages up to 4,000 characters, join up to 200 servers. A lot of that stuff should already be included with Discord. I shouldn't have to pay the $10 a month, which again, that keeps going. That's not, you pay for it once and it's done. That should be something that you pay for once, and then that would be the end of it, or have most, if not all of those things be a free thing. I wonder though, with like a lot of people that have been using this service longer than 2018, maybe some of the people that have been using it since like maybe 2016, or maybe even just a little bit before that, if they feel the same way that I do, where it's just like they enjoyed how little you needed, so little from Discord back then to be able to enjoy it. Whereas like now there's like just too much to it, and it becomes kind of overwhelming to use. I'll give Discord credit though, in the sense that because they offer a lot more now, they kind of have to compensate and be able to use ads. The ads that they do have on the platform are very subtle. They're not in your face. They're easily removable. If they do pop up, you can just click the X. In a lot of cases, you can choose what it is that you want to see content-wise within the advertisements. Because I know there's a lot of other services as well that don't take it nearly as easy as they should with advertisements. So Discord's done a good job with advertisements. I'll go ahead and I'll give them that much. But if you know me, I don't want any advertisements to deal with at all. So then with like bot integration in Discord, I don't usually like to use any of the bots because there's always the possibility that something goes wrong. And if I can prevent that thing from happening, then I'm probably going to do it, right? Like I know there's a lot of people that have in their Discord servers a music bot or a messaging bot or some other thing, some other bot that is performing a service of some kind. I feel that for a lot of us that play games, especially nowadays, microtransactions are like everywhere, and to be able to use something that doesn't have microtransactions in it is kind of a blessing. But with Discord kind of, I guess you could say, selling out a couple of years ago, and they really bought into the whole idea of a lot of the customizations and whatever else, and locking a lot of things behind paywalls. It really doesn't, they're not much different than what a lot of the gaming companies are now. I enjoyed Discord a couple years ago. Everything was a lot smoother then. I just keep seeing the same thing play out over and over again, and it's getting so much worse. And I kind of hate that it's like it's trending this way. But if there's like a small company or if there is a small service that's doing very well and its success like kind of like adds up over time and they become a very successful project, there's usually always a company that's like sitting outside just like waiting for them to either trip up or have something go wrong, or the owners or the developers of whatever it is that they have success, they go and they sell it, and then like afterwards, once the big company steps in, everything, like I said, just kind of goes downhill from there. And it's Discord is still usable, but it has so much unnecessary things to it, and it's stark in comparison to what it was back in 2018, and to anybody that's been using it longer than that, like how simple things were and how out of hand they are now. I hate to see a lot of apps and services go this way, where they start off real simple, very nice, very easy to use, very user friendly, and then afterwards they just add too much to it and it becomes overwhelming and you got to sit there and deal with it. Discord's not the only one to change over the last couple of years though, and this is over a longer tenure, but with Xbox changed as well. I never used one of the original Xboxes when it came out, or I never had one, let alone I might have only ever played on one once, and even then I don't know if it was the original Xbox. It might have been something else for all I know. I was a GameCube kid growing up, but that's besides the point. Xbox changed quite a bit as well. They had a very simple layout for their dashboard in the beginning. It seemed like with time, it's like they just wanted to continue to make things a lot more complex. Because taking a look at the original dashboard here, you see you have memory, music, Xbox Live, and settings. That was like all you needed. That was all you needed. It was very easy to use. And then come time later, switching over to the Xbox 360, this is a screenshot from probably last year or the year before. I haven't used an Xbox 360 in a little while. So it's just like I have no idea what the updates that they're running on today. And this would have been like one of the last couple of dashboards that they had, but I can remember using the Xbox 360 dashboard and it wasn't so bad. There were some advertisements on it, and then with like the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X, both of them are about the same, but I definitely believe that with the Xbox One, things really started to become ad happy, and just about every time that you scrolled through something, you usually saw an advertisement of some sort. PlayStation has probably done it as well. You know, it's like nothing is sacred anymore. Usually things start out super simple and then they become complex way too quick. Now, I understand it's completely different when it comes to Discord versus like the between Xbox and PlayStation and even Nintendo. Nintendo's very guilty of it. I know another software I could probably go off of to kind of like relate to. If anybody has ever used Streamlabs for the sake of either recording on their PC or if they use it for streaming across different platforms, I have no idea how many platforms are available now. In most cases, it's usually YouTube or Twitch, right? Um, I use I use Streamlabs for Twitch up until about I think 22. Yeah, I used Streamlabs up until about 22. 2018, there was already quite a bit of stuff that they had added. There was already a lot of customizations that you could do. Probably ton of subscriptions, as well as other things that you could pay for that were already on the market, and had quite a few plugins and whatnot. That's fine, you know, it's whatever. I was late to the party. I'm sure Streamlabs, when it first came out, had a lot less to it, right? But over time, that was kind of another thing where I was using it somewhat in the beginning. Somewhat in the beginning. I use that term loosely. And over time, they just continued to add more and more and more. And eventually I started to have so many problems with it. And I was like, oh, there's got to be an alternative to this, right? And lo and behold, all you have to do is download OBS and you have all the customizations that you want. And it's like everything that you put into it is your choice, which is what I'm using now to go ahead and record this video. And as have recorded previous videos, as well as be able to stream on Twitch. But with OBS, it's like it's super simple. There's not a whole lot that you have to worry about. And with Streamlabs, I just found that every time that I would use it, I'd have to sit there and wait longer and longer for it to open up, and it wasn't as efficient as it was before. And that's all that's the only thing that I want. I was like, I just want to make sure that it works, and as to whether or not it's going to continue to perform the initial task, the whole reason that I downloaded it. I still use Streamlabs OBS for a handful of things because I haven't quite figured out a couple of years onward from the Switch how to make certain things pop up. But I could figure that out in time. But until then, I don't have to use Streamlabs OBS as like a primary thing anymore, just kind of like its little widgets. At this point in time, I would rather download 100 apps or 100 things of software that each one of them, okay, has one purpose and one purpose only, and I have to be able to figure out which one it is that I want, then have one thing downloaded, okay, that does like 100 things, because the problem with that is that one, it's going to take longer to open. Two, in the event that something goes wrong, that's going to take longer to fix because you got to figure out what it is, what's causing the problem. And three, it's going to take up less resources on your PC. That's kind of the whole goal. That's all I want. The more that an app or software has to offer, the more chances are something's going to go wrong. And as I said before, we're trying to eliminate that. Now, with Discord, a lot of things that I've just gone over, people are going to be like, well, you don't have to buy into these things if you don't want to. You don't have to do a lot of these things. You don't have to pay for the Nitro. You don't have to pay for any of the subscriptions. You don't have to buy any of the customizations. That's great, but the problem is that the moment the masses buy into this, and they're going to, and that's the only reason as to why they've continued to add more and more, and that's the price of a lot of these things have gone up and up. This opens the door for other applications, other software, other services to do the same, and the escape that you're looking from Discord or perhaps maybe whatever service it is, you're going to end up running into the same issue there. Each one of these services are going to suffer the same fate. This has quickly become a hill that I'm willing to die on, but when it comes to apps, software, and services, it doesn't need all of the bells and whistles in order for it to be a good application. If it just does a little bit, that's all I ask from it, right? It's just, if this is what it does in the beginning, just make sure that it just does this thing right here, right? That's all I need. Don't add bot integration, don't add social media, don't add other account linkings, don't add subscriptions, don't add anything else. Just make sure that it does this sole thing right here, and chances are it's probably going to be a good app. That's all you need from it. If you can stay on top of the app when it first comes out or with what little it has, it's going to be very maintainable when the future comes. This is just one of those things where less truly is more. But I think in that case, say that's gonna do it for this video. I got nothing else to go over, but those are just my thoughts when it comes to how little I need from a service and the hopes that it's going to stay. I don't mind if it like evolves over time and it becomes a little bit more efficient, because everybody's looking for efficiency. Everybody wants to make sure that the application or software or service, whatever it is that they're working, that's completely fine. But as I was saying like a couple minutes ago, the more that you add to something, the more of trouble it's going to be over a long period of time. So to be able to keep things bare bones and not have a whole lot to it is a lot better than adding 900 things to it and then something goes wrong and then it needs to be fixed, because depending on the severity of it, okay, it's going to take longer to fix. Until then, I'll see you on the next video.